Good morning, good night, good evening, or wherever you are. Welcome to the Smart Roofer System podcast here with SRS Roofing. We're excited to bring to you today and every week the 7 keys: planning, money, operating, marketing, sales, staffing, and leadership. And today's topic, Jacob,
We're talking about safety today.
we are talking about safety, and that's going to fall underneath operations in the 7 keys. We have our safety manager here, Bo, who's also my brother. I know you can't tell the difference because I'm so good looking and he's not. But yeah, he's my little brother. He's been in the safety industry for
About 10 years now.
about 10 years now, and working on large scale commercial projects and all the way to just residential projects too. And currently, right now, works on a ton of public work projects. That's pretty much what your kind of specialty is, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so today we're gonna have him talk about, he writes all of our safety plans. He does all of our CPR. Making sure all our guys have CPR, OSHA 10, OSHA 30, in the right direction. So, but tell me a little bit about what you're looking for when we have a new hire coming on, and how you're getting them set up for being safe on the job site and working with SRS and on the roofs.
Oh, when you get somebody new, one of the things that you want to make sure is that they got trained properly. I mean, understanding that we are a 100% tie-off company and that's what we're looking for on the site. Everybody goes through CPR, bloodborne pathogens, and AED training. I think that's important that everybody on site knows how to handle a situation. So we're very training first, not just get you out there and get you working, but let's make sure that you're safe, you're on site, and you know what to do if something happens.
Right on. And then we also put them through OSHA
10 and OSHA 30, depending on the
on the
role.
levels. So if they're coming on with us as a superintendent or foreman, they're getting OSHA 30.
That's correct.
And if they are coming on as an employee out in the field, they're getting OSHA 10. And one thing that I think is really neat about our CPR and our OSHA classes is we're able to do them online, and it's able to like track them in place. And then we also have in-house like training too. So I think that's pretty cool that you're able to do that. What would you say? What's the advantages of online and like in the field like training?
Online to training it can tailor to the individual. Some people do really well with learning online, and then some people are really hands-on. I find most time in the industries like roofing and everything, hands-on usually really hits that home run, gets them to understand it a little bit more.
What do you see? Like, how long do you think like getting a new employee like orientated, understanding? Hey, here's our CPR, here's our OSHA 10, the classes that you have to take, and understanding our fall protection. And we use Super Anchor Safety. So with our harnesses, how long does it take to get them kind of orientated and set up for starting work on the job site?
Oh, with the different levels, like so with the foreman, superintendent's at 30 hours. I mean, it's 30 hours. I mean, it's just on a computer. You got to get it done. Then it's familiarizing with the equipment that we use. So making sure that your harness is safe, making sure that you understand how the tie-offs work, how the anchors work, going over your D-rings, going over the stitching, making sure what you're gonna put on, you know how to inspect daily. Daily inspections of all equipment it should be happening. Ropes, tie-off points, all the way down to your connectors as well. So that itself is pretty much a full day, and then you have your first aid CPR training, which is 8 hours. So
8 hours there.
8
Yeah.
hours.
So it's about a full five.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
Safety alone, when you're coming on with our company and getting it, orientated and everything, it's about just a full week of just not just here's the job and go do it, but it's a full week of here's what you need to do and how we work safe, here. I really appreciate that. I don't see a lot of companies that I used to work for. They didn't do that. It was just kind of like, here's a harness, here's a rope, get up on that roof and go. Which I think falls in which, one thing that I think we take pride in is we have no OSHA recordables in the last 2 years. We do have a, what was it? LNI. We had an LNI ladder incident where he did not have his ladder high enough.
Okay.
But I mean, other than that, that was a correction. It wasn't a violation. So, yeah. So that's getting the guys set up. As far as like OSHA form 308, 301, we track that on a weekly basis. Is it a weekly basis? Daily?
So this should be tracked whenever there's an incident, and then you file it by the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you have to, so our OSHA 301 is tracked.
If you have any incidents, then you'll track them. But if that is monthly, then it's just no recordable incidents that
Okay.
month.
So yeah, right now we have 0 recordable incidents. But you do those on a monthly log?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no recordables for OSHA. So, what do we do as far as safety? We have site safety plans. So, let's talk about that. So, every job, our residential jobs are pretty repetitive, right? But we're 100% tie off. So, we have our D rings that we use for residential jobs. And our safety anchors, and so they're in a full harness. They're in a lifeline, and they're going up, and they're setting their safety anchor, tying off from the ladder, and then going up that way, right? Mm-hmm. So residential jobs are pretty repetitive. So every job has different pitches, and what are some things that you're looking for when you're writing a site safety plan for residential?
As far as residential goes, understanding how the swing fall can happen, looking at that pendulum to where, and making sure that where they're tied off, they're not gonna swing off, and understanding that the movement on the roof and everything. I mean, there's a lot to look at as far as I guess. I don't really know exactly what we're looking for here.
I got a question for residential roofs and installing D rings for like something like a 1212. So you have, let's say you have like a 25-year-old roof, and the sun's been beating down on it for a long time, and the granules are starting to fall out. And for the first part of the job, you don't want guys up there tearing it off. The first thing you got to do is install some type of anchor point so that they can tie off to it, right? What's the proper, I guess, and you may be able to answer this, maybe not. I'm not sure, but I was always curious. That first installation, like, what's the proper process for a really steep roof when you have like maybe one guy that goes up there and installs it really fast so that everybody else can get up there too? Like, how do we go about doing that, or like what's the proper procedure?
Proper procedure for that would be, I think you kind of just hit it. One person's got to set it, make sure it's safe, looking at it, and then you can work from there.
You're not, the one person's not just setting the one anchor. He's setting
got to set multiples.
All the anchors.
He sets all of them at once.
Mm-hmm. I know on a couple roofs that we've done, you've had them take a rope just up and over to the other side, where it goes up and over the pitch, and it's tied off from the ground, on like really steep roofs, and so it goes up over to the ridge, back down onto the other side, and it's tied on the ground on the other side, and then that's like a lifeline that they can zip up, so they're still tied off on it. Because like when a lifeline works is you can release it and tighten it as it goes, right?
Yeah, you got two different ones that you can set up. So if you set it up across the way, it's basically a tension system where you'd set it to where the slack isn't too much, to where it snaps, but it's also not too loose where you'll fall and hit the ground. So it's just really understanding how the anchor points work.
Yeah. You know, I've seen so many guys, like I'm in a lot of the roofing groups on Facebook. And there's just these like cowboy guys that post photos of them and their crews, or like even during inspections where they're on like a 12 plus with like a pitch hopper. You know what a pitch hopper is? It's
I don't know what that is.
it's like a little foam mat. It's like a hard foam
Oh, yeah.
mat thing that they put up on the roof, and it essentially sticks to the shingles.
Yeah.
But they'll put it up there and they'll stand on it, and they're just relying on that thing not sweeping out from underneath them and then falling down the roof. But they'll get on these roofs to inspect them, and it's like crazy to me that there's some people out there that are willing to risk their lives for an inspection, which like for me, I'm not big on heights. Like I don't like getting up on steep stuff or crawling up mountains or anything like that. But I'm okay with getting up on standard roofs. But these guys I see on there are like, I just can't believe they're posting some of this content on Facebook, and like, there's a lot of there's a lot of danger happening out there. And then also, if there's OSHA or if there's LNI, if anybody sends them that stuff, they get really big trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's wild. The roofing industry, there's a lot of like cowboys. There's a lot of people who don't abide by any of the safety rules, or they don't have any safety plans in place. And I think that's like a big thing that makes us different, is we're pretty hard on safety, and where a lot of the roofing industry isn't.
Yeah, one thing that you have our guys do too on a daily is a safety daily, like pre-task,
Yeah.
along with a fall protection plan. And then at the end of the day, you have them fill out like, and this is all digital forms. You have them fill out a, what's it called? A safety end of the day, like report. And so you get to read through that and everything. And then also you get to see, the site as far as like, here's some photos, here's where my anchor's tied off. That's pretty cool, to be able to do that. We actually, so I'm just looking at like our site, one of our site safety plans right now, that he's put together for us. And what's pretty crazy is I've never actually looked at the whole thing, but it is a total of 96 line items and safety things that we have to look at, which is pretty like, I would say like deep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to
Is
be
that
able
for
to go-
residential or commercial?
This is for both. So, well, this job I'm looking at is a commercial job. Yeah, it's a commercial job. And so like, just kind of like the one thing that it has here is we have emergency contacts. So we have the project manager. Jacob, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, you went dark on us. So we got the project manager's info. Then we have our safety director, Bo. We have our superintendent, our foreman, our assistant foreman, and then it has so it just says like, hey, like make like, is the first aid kit and it has to be on site at all times. Is it there? Here is the next thing, emergency extract procedure. So you actually write the address and then give them the closest medical hospital. So this is like on the first page, like, so if there's somewhere to go, and then it gives like a image of the hospital, but also, you know, the address, you know, it's open 24 hours, the phone number, all of that. And it even like goes into detail of saying like, hey, like, you know, call 911 if needed, right, for like transport. So, but can you just run through like kind of like here's what we got going on right here. So you got the like with the site safety plan.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we got to start with is the scope of work. What are we doing? What are we doing? That's going to kind of lay out how we proceed safety wise. So once we know our scope, we can go through and say, hey, what's our site safety requirements out there? And then we have our general stuff, which is our stop work authority, workers' right to refuse dangerous work policy statements. We go through our specific safety plan with the foreman and the project managers on site. One of the things that after we go through that, so every day, Tato's already hit on it. They fill out a JHA, job hazard analysis. Photos don't lie, so they're gonna take pictures of where the first aid kit is on site, so that everybody signs off and says, "Hey, I know where this is." They're gonna take pictures of their anchors, so hey, we have our anchors up, we have our safety banners up,
Fire extinguishers.
Fire extinguishers. That is the first thing they do. They prepare the site, they get it ready safety wise, and then they go over, hey, this is our scope of work. This is how we're going to be safe with those things. So we'll talk about, you know, pinch points, crush points. If we're bringing new materials up on top of the roof, we'll talk about the safety ways of handling that, making sure that there's no drop zones. The drop zones are in place and everything. And we'll do general housekeeping. Housekeeping is one of the things, if I'm coming onto a site and I look at, if it looks right, it probably is right. Now, if you got things all over the place, then there's something that I'm gonna find. Because if it's not clean, if it doesn't look like a tidy job site, there's probably something more going on. So.
Yeah, that's really important for optics and just people driving by and, you know, just having a clean job site. Like the way that people view the company overall is really important to make sure that, you know, we're staying clean. And when people drive by, they're like, oh wow, they're picking up, they're a clean company. I would hire that company. So just wanted to add that too, because it's a big thing for a lot of people. They're concerned about their kids and their dogs stepping on nails, and
Yeah.
you know, it's not only for our guys, but for the customers as well during these residential jobs.
Yeah. What's another thing we do that we do here that I don't think a lot of roofing companies do. In fact, I know they don't. Is we do what every employee is subject to a drug and alcohol test. And so at any time, if we feel that the behavior or anything like that, we can send them to a drug and alcohol test. And we get randoms that we have to pull too because of like the commercial side of things. So actually, if you are a commercial roofer, it's part of our hiring process, drug and alcohol. So, yeah, so like they're subject to that. One other thing that we see is vehicles.
Yes.
So we do a full safety vehicle inspection, and we actually have our superintendents that are supposed to do a full 360 walk around, rigging and crane cards.
Yep.
Not all of our guys get rigging cards. It's kind of more of the superintendents. And
I got my rigging card, by the way. So if you ever need
yeah,
me
you're good.
for some crane work,
You're ready to hoist up some material.
yeah.
I would say like the other thing too is we do a GFIC. All of our extension cords, inspecting them, making sure they're nice and clean, no cuts, no rips. Same with the lifelines on a daily. That's part of that should be in the JHA, like checking that, right?
Yep.
And then ladders. We have ladders that have to be
Tied off at least 2 feet above.
3 feet above here in
3
Washington.
feet and
Yep.
3 feet.
Yep.
Yep.
So, getting on and off a ladder, we do gutter guards. We're able to make sure that it's tied off with our safety strap. We use a Titan, safety strap. We've seen guys in the past that have brought old bad habits over, and they've used like bungee cords, and they'll use what's the material straps,
Yeah. Ratchet straps.
ratchet straps.
Ratchet straps, yeah.
Yeah.
Ratchet strap the ladder to the house.
Yeah, and so we are having to always, correct that. I would say that's one thing that they've been doing it for so long, and I know we use Titan straps, and where they go. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I think I've spent more money on fire extinguishers and Titan straps than roofing material sometimes. So they just disappear. So lighting, machinery. So we work in scissor lifts. Before they can get on a scissor lift, forklift, or a little spider crane, or even like how to run like a TPO, like welder or torch, they have to go through what?
Familiarized training.
Yeah. So they have to go through familiarized training, and they have to be able to pass that and say like, yes, I'm capable of running them, and get their cards. If it's a forklift, they have to have a forklift card. If it's a aerial lift, they have to have the aerial lift. Scissor lift, there's no card for that.
It falls under the aero lift.
Aerial lift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then torch, they would have to have a torch card, which is actually what I teach. So, and single ply, I teach that too. So anytime they're working with a torch or hot, welding gun, they have to come and do training prior to be able to handle those. Reason being is, well, with torch, there's open flames. So they want to be able to make sure that we have a fire watch, and then also that they understand how to turn the torch off and start the torch properly, and what they should and shouldn't torch on. The welding machine, single ply welding machines, those temperatures, they get anywhere from 150 to 500 plus, degrees. So they're able to, go up. If they go up and touch it, they're going to burn themselves. And so if they're not familiar with how to use a single ply, welder, they shouldn't be using it. And so all of our guys have to go through training, even on the robots and stuff. Like, I know that it seems pretty, repetitive, but we don't want anyone going up and using, the torches or welders and burn themselves, or not, burn down a roof, right? So, the other thing that we do is all of our guys have to wear what for their gloves?
PPE.
PPE. So, cut gloves. They shouldn't have any other. So those are what like Kevlar gloves.
Yeah, you got multiple types of like cut resistant gloves out there. Just making sure that they do have the proper PPE is like the huge thing. Making sure you are going to be working out on the roof.
And tell me, what is PPE?
Personal protective equipment.
Okay, and what does that cover?
Should cover your eyes, your ears, your hands, toes, mouth sometimes. Yeah.
What
It
about
can be
your
a
head?
lot. Your head protection's huge.
Yeah.
Gotta
It's
protect like that.
your personal. It's your whole body.
Yeah.
You got your steel toes. You got your Kevlar. Freaking, if you're using a chainsaw, you need
Yeah.
some special.
Chaps.
You know what I think's great though is like majority I don't want to say majority, but the roofing industry right now is having a huge shift in going from like chuck in a truck, like fly by night kind of contractor to I see so many companies who are like legitimizing themselves and they want to be the like for us, like what we're trying to do here, what we are doing is we're going by the book, like a lot of these legitimate companies out here, and sticking to safety and making sure that we're cleaning up and being a contractor that people actually want to have on their property versus the nightmares that I've heard from a lot of our clients who've gotten a roof done in the past or maybe somebody else. It's like we're flipping the script on everything. And I think the safety part of it is huge because we're up on ladders. Ladders are like,
Our
correct me
guys
if I'm
actually
wrong,
wear
Bo,
hard hats.
hard hats. But ladders are some of the most dangerous pieces of equipment that you can have. Like I think how many people fall off ladders every year and die? Like a lot. So the fact that the roofing industry is starting to change is a good thing. It used to be kind of like
Dylan, can you check that out? Yeah, how many people? We're gonna get the statistic on that.
pull,
Roofers.
pull that pull
Yeah,
that
pull
up.
that up.
Yeah. But just the industry is changing. I think that it's just the beginning of the overhaul of the industry, and it's going to be for the better. I think there's going to be a lot of great companies out there, us being one of them.
I think one thing that you're saying too is that, like we've mentioned it multiple times: training, and familiarization. And that's the thing too is like if you start changing, you're wanting that industry trained. You're getting them to understand that we want to be safe. We don't want to be doing any of the cowboy stuff anymore. We got to get rid of those bad habits and those social or those norms from the old times. We're moving into a professional way of working. We got to be tied off. We got to have to understand how to use the equipment that we're working with. Getting to there is going to be a really good thing, and I hope that it keeps on driving that way.
Yeah, and I think too. Like, do you got that statistic?
Yeah, it's about 300 people per year in the U.S.
So yeah, about
gotta be more
300
than that.
people per
I,
year.
I feel like times 10, but
That's
maybe
that's a lot. Like 300 people
Yeah,
falling off a
it
ladder
is.
and dying.
It is.
And I mean, I'm sure there's
Yeah.
a lot more people injuries, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot of people dying per year off just
Yeah.
falling off a ladder.
500,000 ladder related.
500,000.
500,000. Yeah. So
That's insane.
that's wild. And
So-
like people just breaking it, like, basically disfiguring themselves, not maybe killing themselves, but you're not going home the same way that you showed up. That's for
Yeah.
sure. Falling off a ladder.
So I think we'll kind of wrap it up today, but I just want to say this: like one thing that Bo really transitioned, like got like ingrained on me is he's got a military background, and his whole thing was like teamwork, communication, and having like not thinking like LNI or OSHA as a ooh, LNI showing up as like a good thing. Like they are there to protect our guys. They're there to protect you as a business owner, and they're there like they want to show up to the job site and they want to make sure that you have everything covered. And so I think that was one thing that the way that you said it was, LNI and OSHA, like they're my partners, and I've never really thought of it that way, but like they're there to help us and make sure that our guys are going home safe. And I'll tell you what, like working for a company that really cares about, we got families at home, we have loved ones like that we want to go see at the end of the day. And instead of thinking, oh man, OSHA is going to show up or they're going to find me, like I hated that like environment. I actually love when we get to OSHA and LNI audits, because it helps us sharpen to see, okay, well, we need to do more training in here. But also we get compliments. Like we actually had another company that that L&I here in Whatcom County referred. They're like, hey, go talk to SRS Roofing and see what they do with their site safety plan, because it's so great. And like, here's what we want to see like in a packet. And that owner actually reached out to me, and I showed him, like, that's what we're here to do. We're here to help, roofing owners, sharpen their skills, create better systems, right? That's what Smart Roofer Systems is all about. And so the fact that, an L&I inspector, not just calls, me and says, hey, will this be okay? And I'm like, yeah, Tyler, like, that's awesome. Like, and he's like, okay. And just congratulates Bo on writing our safety plans and, calls on questions.
Yeah.
Like, that was the other thing. Like, hey, here's a question that I'm thinking. We have, what was it?
Oh gosh. I can't remember. I'd have to revert back. And the other thing too is that the nice thing about these audits, right? Because I always say complacency kills or complacency hurts. This shows you where you're going to be complacent. I mean, it allows you to be like, hey, look, maybe you have a couple of them where you find out that ladders aren't tied off, Hey, it's time to get these guys back in here and understand, hey, it's important. This is why we tie off our ladders. I'm just using the ladders because
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it a couple times today. So.
Yeah, I mean, even like, here's another thing. We've seen guys tie off to the side of their D rings, right? Like where their tool, holders are and everything. And it's like, dude,
Dorsal D.
get off the roof. We're taking you off the roof today. We're suspending you for a day, and you're coming in for training because you obviously,
Need a refresher.
Need a refresher. So those are things like safety is super serious, but it's you do a great job making it fun and making sure that all our guys understand it and become safe. And the other thing too is like the foremans have no problem stopping work and coming and asking you, even if the GC is telling us here's how we want to do it. And we've had some things where they're like, the general contractor's like, hey, like, you don't have to be tied off. And our foreman's like, hey, like, the general contractor is saying, like, we don't have to be tied off. And Bo is like, we're 100% tie off company. So it's just the way it works. So, I mean, we've had one roof that had, 8-foot walls. Basically, we didn't tie off there, right? It was a staircase and everything there. But all our other ones, we have perimeter flags. And even, that's 100% tie off. Doesn't matter if it's a 4-foot parapet wall or not, it's 100% tie off. So,
Might be a little overdone, but that's fine.
yeah, it's the military background,
It's like you can always, and that's a good way to think about OSHA, right? And then Washington, Washington took it and they added 2. Okay, so as a company, we can take what we're seeing, as long as we're adding to and not taking away from that, is a good thing to think about. I mean, you can add safety, but don't take away from it.
Yeah. Well, let's just wrap it up right there. I like that right there. So, hey, thanks for joining us today. Wherever you are, morning, good night, or if you're having lunch, we appreciate you tuning in. If you want to come learn or come, talk, about your roofing business, we'd love for you to come out here to Washington. We're in Seattle area, and fly on out. Spend the day with us on a fly-in Friday, where we can talk about, your roofing business and see, how can Smart Roofer Systems, help you, and how can we connect. So keep being safe out there, keep working hard, and have fun, and hug your family tight. We'll talk to you soon.